Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Septic Services. This is a production of the American All-Star Series, and I don't know why this is doing this. There we go. It's not popping up, so I thought I had it right, but I didn't. Blooper. Anyways, I'm Allie, and this is a production of the American All-Star Series, like I said, and I'm always joined with the CEO of the American All-Star Series, Joe Rush. Joe, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great. We're on a special Thursday night. You started a new job, and I'm trying to get moved into my new house. So we're on a different night than usual and got a pretty good crowd. Excited for tonight's episode, excited for tonight's guest, and looking forward to actually some beautiful weather to race this weekend, Allie.
Yes, it's going to get pretty cold in the evening, but I'm perfectly okay with that. The hot weather and the rain can just kick rocks and go, because it's been too hot and too rainy for me this race season. But we're on episode 29 titled Pew Pew, which we'll find out why we named it Pew Pew here in a minute. But as always, we're streaming live on all of our social media networks right now, our Facebook pages, our Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, as well as we have an Instagram and a TikTok, so go follow those, and then go check out crateracing.com for all of your American All-Star Series needs.
That's right. Everything is always updated on there. Points, everything you need, you can check out there. Not been a whole lot going on points-wise, even on the weekly side, because everybody's been getting rained out lately. But except for our friends at Natural Bridge, excited. We've added that since the last episode we did. Going to have a $75,000 weekend in just a few weeks, Labor Day weekend, over $75,000. But first, we've got an exciting weekend coming up this weekend at Crossville and I-75. But before we talk about that, before we talk to our guest tonight, don't forget to reach out if you want some Off the Dirt merch.
Yes, Landstone Designs is our plug for Off the Dirt merch, and you can always hit up Landstone Designs for all of your Off the Dirt merch, as well as your own merch that you may want to sell for yourself. They're awesome at everything that they do. Embroiders, polos, t-shirts, hoodies, anything you want, they can get.
That's right. So give Jamie a call, let him know that we sent you, and they'll take good care of you there at Landstone Designs.
And Firefly Token. I don't have my spiel because my phone is dead, but how's the token doing?
Firefly's actually doing great. It's been in the green the past week, I think, almost every day for the past week, and it's on an uphill climb. So seeing some good marketing, promotions going on for it. Of course, we help push it here on Off the Dirt. So make sure that you get hooked up, get signed up for Firefly, because it is growing. It is in the green, and who knows where it could go with the market. If the market continues in the right direction, Firefly will keep going in the right direction. So
yes, so
awesome.
Go invest in Firefly while it's cheap now, before it raises, because then you may not be able to invest. And also, your investment goes to the conservation of fireflies, and we always love to see those fireflies on the Saturday night race nights.
That's right. So speaking of Saturday night race nights, Racetrack Connection is a great partner for the series, great partner for the show, really. Sherman's been on board with us basically since even before he got the app launched. We helped him launch it here on the show, and it's just a great way for drivers and fans to connect. 2 tracks that we go into this weekend both have great service, so there's no reason for all the drivers and all the fans not to be using it. And this is a great opportunity to get signed up this weekend when we know we're going to a track where service is good.
Yes, Racetrack Connection. We'll talk about all the features that it has later on in the show, but it is an awesome app. It's practically the social media for all of racing. Any kind of racing you can think about is on Racetrack Connection, and it's just an awesome app for you to connect with new people, new fans, as well as sponsors and buyers and sellers.
That's right. We'll talk more about that when we get to segments 2 and 3. But without further ado, I'm excited about tonight's guest. Our guest tonight has never been on the show with us, and we're bringing in
What's up?
Sylvan Schuette. Sylvan, good to have you tonight, buddy.
Yes, good to have y'all. Can you hear me? That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right, Sylvan, you race with us a lot when we're there in, East Tennessee. We usually see you pretty much anytime we're racing there in Georgia. We see you. Sometimes you even make the trips to Kentucky. Haven't got you to Virginia or West Virginia yet, but who knows? That $75,000 at the beginning of September might be enough to entice you to come up this way. But Sylvan, just kind of tell everybody, because you're a driver that rides with us, that's always a member of the series and earn points throughout the year when you're able to race with us. Tell people that don't know you maybe a little bit about your background, how you got into racing, and just give them some information on who Sylvan Schuette is.
Well, my father, he always raced ever since I can remember. So I was always, around racing. So I started racing at 4 years old. I got a quarter midget for my birthday, and I started practicing then, raced those for a few years. Then I raced dirt go-karts for a while, and I've been racing late models since I was 13. So I've been racing, pretty much my whole life as well.
That's pretty cool. Well, today, outside of dirt racing, I read it in the Off the Dirt article, not Off the Dirt, Outside Groove article.
You're off the dirt.
By the way, if anybody is on here that hasn't read Sylvan's Outside Groove article, it's awesome to get to know you, Sylvan. But I didn't know that you were going into cybersecurity.
Yes, I am actually a cybersecurity major, and I'll be graduating here in December. And I actually am currently employed as a cybersecurity specialist, so I'm looking to continue my career that way.
How does that schedule work with racing? I always look at the jobs people have and the things they do with racing. How does cybersecurity schedule work with your racing schedule?
Yeah, sometimes it messes up with Friday races. It's usually kind of hard to get to go to Friday races, but luckily I have tomorrow off, so I can make it to Crossville with no problems at all.
That's awesome. So I'm getting some stuff here about you being a stud and a bodybuilder. So what's this story all about, Sylvan?
So actually Travis Dockery there, he's the announcer at Tri-County Racetrack. And I started making race car bodies on the side as like a side business. And I was announcing it all over Facebook and stuff. And when Travis walked up to me, he actually started calling me the bodybuilder. Also, play on words of race car bodies and a bodybuilder. So now that's what I get called, the bodybuilder, whenever I head on over to Brasstown.
That's awesome. So they're having a lot of fun with you here tonight. So it looks like your buddies are out here with us hanging out. Good old Sylvan is what Brady says. So, you've been racing your whole life. How many wins do you have? How many late model wins do you have? Did you jump straight into a 604? Did you do 602 first? What was your path to where you're at now?
I don't know how many quarter midget wins I had. I'd say it's around 20. I had 2 or 3 wins in dirt go-karts, and I think I'm up to 8 or 9 wins in the late models. And I most recently won a couple weeks ago at North Georgia. So that's, I'm trying to get my numbers up there. But I started out in 604s. I've always ran 604s. I'd like to try a 602 at some point. I don't know how they drive, but so far I've only ran in 604s.
Gotcha. Well, what I was going to ask is, I met you at the car show, and, we always talk about maybe you could follow the series somewhere this year, because I joined the series. Well, I was on the series, but I couldn't come to any of the races until later in the season last year. So what made you want to run the American All-Star Series?
Well, you don't get better racing against, just weekly drivers. I think the American All-Star Series has the most prestigious drivers around for 604 racing. So I really like you guys, all the officials. I like the tracks you go to. I think it's a fair series, and it really helps me become a better driver, race against, the best of the best.
Well, we definitely appreciate those kind words. And Justin Thompson says North Georgia is a good little racetrack. We've never been there. Might be somewhere good for us to visit at some point. But we are coming to your home state a little later. We'll talk about that. But, these 2 tracks this weekend, if you were going to win at one of the 2, which one do you think would you have your better shot at? Well,
I haven't raced at Crossville in 5 years now, probably. So I definitely had fun when I went there. And I-75, I tend to have some struggles there. So maybe Crossville is where I can get it done.
Yeah, it seems like every time you go to I-75 with us, you have bad luck. Unfortunately, yes. I think you didn't even make it to the second night of the weekend opener to start the season, did you?
No, I did not. Knock on wood. We'll get it done this time.
That's right.
Yeah, maybe you won't look like Ashton Winger out there.
Yeah, I hope not. Jeez.
They're still giving you a hard time about your tire dope. So.
Oh, very funny. Yes.
So all these people that are saying all this, I'm guessing they're telling us that we need to make sure we do a tire sample on you this weekend.
I guess so. All four. Make a little sample.
Yeah.
As long as Joseph paid for it.
Yeah. Beth says we need to stay away from the Ashenwinger stuff. We're going to get in trouble there. I-75 joined us tonight. It's good to have Beth here. We love going to I-75 and have a good time there. Had a really phenomenal race, maybe one of the best races of the year the last time we were there. The Saturday night show was just off its rocker. Great show. Unfortunately, you weren't able to attend that night. You had some of those early season gremlins that you get, Sylvan. But we look ahead into some of our other races this season, and we are going to Georgia, your home state, to Sugar Creek for $10,000 to win in September. Is that a track you're familiar with? How far is it from you? We've never been there as a series. I've never been there personally. Talk to the people a little bit about that track as well, as we're just a month away or so.
Yeah, it's probably about half an hour from my house, which is really, really nice. And I've ran a good few races there. I really wish they had a more set schedule, more frequent races, because I really, really enjoy it. It really, has that kind of Tri-County vibe to it. You'll notice that when you get there. It really feels kind of like Tri-County, which is also just, another 40 minutes down the road from there. But I really, really enjoy the track, and I feel like I run decent there. So I'm really looking forward to you guys coming to town and see how I can fare against maybe getting a really big check to put on the wall.
That's right. Well, this weekend you got two to go for first with the Hayjack Construction Race and the Stars in the Valley 40. What would it mean for you to get a win with the series against what you say are the best drivers in the country?
I like to think that we don't have quite the budget that other people do. That's not pushing bad on anybody, but we really don't. So I think it's really cool to show up with not as much equipment and run really well with people who, have the extra car if they don't like how this one runs or whatever. But maybe that would have helped me at I-75 again.
That's right.
But you'll notice that on the side of our car, Fast Fab Fabrication, that's really us. And we make our money to go racing with that. So, these big checks in our pocket would definitely help us, because, that goes a long way nowadays with fuel and tires and all this stuff. So that'd be very, very helpful.
Talk a little bit about the metal work that you guys do, because that's something, I've talked to you guys about maybe having something special made for us for our banquet this year. Talk about your metalworking. I mean, it's a pretty cool deal and different. And, you do a lot of different stuff that you don't expect a lot of racers to be involved in. So, talk a little bit about that metalworking that you guys do.
Well, for starters, I kind of do my bodybuilding for race cars under that same name. So we do that. We have a special decorative metal work that, we go to different craft shows and sell them at craft shows. So, and sometimes those overlap with racing. We have to say, well, if we want to go racing next weekend, we need to go make some money at a craft show. And we've also done a lot of industrial stuff. Like, for instance, the hospital here in town, we built most of the handrails for the hospital. I remember that day vividly because it was about 25 degrees outside, Christmas Eve day. Spent about 11 and a half hours putting up hand railings. So we do all different kinds of stuff. We like racing, so we're going to find a way to make the money to go racing.
Yeah, I've even talked to you about coming to certain races, and you're like, well, we've got one of our shows this weekend, so we can't be there. So I know that's something you and I have talked about personally in the past, and that's just another little cool, interesting tidbit about you that maybe folks don't know. So we got some more comments I want to share with you.
I'm scared.
Now we're going to have to tear you down, too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
I just got a new box in. I'll send you some, Kaylor.
so and then Beth says the track's 10,000% better than it was when the series was there in April. It's produced some interesting racing the last couple of months. And I know the ones that I've watched on the pay-per-view events have been very interesting. I've sit at home and watched them. So, but really, that race in April, the first night you had bad luck. The second night you weren't a part of, but it was, slide job city and side-by-side racing. So it was awesome to see. Sylvan, before we let you go, I appreciate you taking time to hang out with us. You've given us about 20 minutes of your night tonight. But before I let you go, I know you mentioned your sign company, your metalworking company. what else? Who else helps you get up and down the road? What sponsors do you have? Who do you want to thank? And before we turn you loose tonight,
I got to thank Interstate Welding and Steel Supply. They help us out with a lot of the metal we use for decorative signs and race car bodies and stuff like that. They really help us out a lot there. Noonan Industries, which is big into wheel covers and some siping wheels and stuff like that. They help us out. Of course, Fast Fab. And I got to thank CTC Innovations. They are the people behind the train chassis that we run. And I really think they're building a really great race car. So they help us out a lot there too.
Awesome.
Yeah, I hadn't really heard much about that, the brand of chassis you're running until you mentioned it in the outside, until I read the Outside Groove article. So it sounds like you're really happy with it, and it sounds like they're helping put you toward the front.
Yeah, I really like how the car handles. It's very nice. I've had to do some tweaking to compare to, racing the Longhorn previous years, but I'm really enjoying it. I think it's the best car that I've ever sat in so far.
That's awesome. So,
That's cool.
well, Sylvan, we appreciate you coming and hanging out with us tonight. We're going to see you tomorrow night. Got anything else, any closing thoughts before we let you go?
Just this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, before we let you go,
Yeah, we got to do that, yeah.
We didn't talk about your last name. So forever I didn't know how to say your last name, and then you told Allie Pew Pew, and we've made that into your nickname. So how many different ways have people said your name over the years?
So they've said Schuette, Shy, some other things I can't say on Facebook Live. Yeah, I've got used to it now. They just, it's a tough name for sure. So we just roll with it. We're like, yeah, that's it. But the easiest way I tell people is it's the shootee, not the shooter.
That's right. There you go. Shootee. Pew Pew. So,
Pew.
All right, buddy. Well, we wish you the best of luck this weekend. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Safe travels, and we'll go racing tomorrow.
All right. Thank you guys for having me. This was fun.
Thanks for hanging out. We enjoyed having you.
See y'all later.
See ya.
All right, that was the AAS competitor, the one and only Sylvan Schuette, as in Pew Pew, and he's an awesome competitor, an awesome person to have on our series, and a pretty loyal driver with us as well. Hey, Gary.
It's good to have Gary here. Chris Cottle from Lake Cumberland. Good to have you. But Allie, what do you say we take a break? We'll come back. Next segment, we'll spend a lot of time on I-75. We also need to talk a little bit about Eastern Kentucky before we really get into our racing at I-75 and Crossville. But what do you say we come back and we talk a little bit about our race tomorrow night, or Crossville first, then I-75.
Yes. So let's hear a quick word from PPM Racing Products, the title sponsor of the American All-Star Series and the official fuel, Renegade Racing Fuel.
When you start with the strongest American steel, apply the smartest techniques, let artesian quality craftsmen do the work. What you end up with is just built better than anything else you can get.
Racers that win, pour it in, and we appreciate you.
Welcome back to Off the Dirt with Allie and Jay, presented by M&M Septic Services. We just talked to one of the AAS competitors joining us this weekend at Crossville and I-75 for our first race day in like a month, but our race weekend in like a month. But before we start talking about Eastern Kentucky, and I said Crossville first.
Yes.
Let's talk about Racetrack Connections.
Yeah, Racetrack Connection is a great app for drivers and fans. And let me tell you, if you've not signed up, you need to get signed up. It gives you as a driver a chance to communicate with your fans, for your fans to know who you are. You know, when I was a little kid, I remember coming to the track and I would sit in the stands and I'd like the 41 car. well, who was the 41 car? I had no idea. You can't hear, let's be honest, you can't hear the PA system most of the time at a racetrack. So what better way than for you as a driver to sign up and communicate with your young fans out there? Racetrack Connection gives you that opportunity. It gives you the opportunity, a young fan can say such nice things. They might send you a message or put a message into chat that they can't private message you, but put a message into chat for that race night that just, gives you an extra pep in your step. And maybe it's a night when you've had bad luck and they've said something nice and, it just kind of wipes that bad luck away. So the chat feature is a great thing that Racetrack Connection offers. And I think that drivers and fans need to get hooked up and get on it.
Yes, Racetrack Connection is the social media for all of racing, and it is literally my favorite part about it is also as me as a fan sitting in the stands and you're out of town maybe and you don't know who's on the track and they see your car and they see your number, they can, if you've checked in at the racetrack, they can see who you are and see who is driving that car, and they can check your resume, and maybe it's a sponsor, which we'll talk about in the next segment, but maybe it's a sponsor that wants to give you some money, and they'll also say in your resume that you're looking for sponsors.
Right. And who knows? Sometimes you go out of town and you don't even know what class is on the track because there's 15 different kinds of late models now. So, you're sitting there and, well, what type of late model is this? Well, with Racetrack Connection, you know what. A sportsman. I mean, there are so many different kinds of late models. So it lets you know what classes classes are racing as well. So definitely check it out. It's free, fans and drivers. There's 2 different versions. So make sure if you're a fan, you download the fan app. If you're a driver, you download the driver app. Drivers put your schedule in. Your fans can follow you. It's a great app. Check it out.
Yep, Racetrack Connection. Go download it right now.
Right now. All right.
But let's talk about our friends in Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, before we get into talking about this weekend's races, there was some devastation. We've not had a show since it happened there in Eastern Kentucky. And, just as a series, we want to send our hearts and prayers out. There was a gentleman that with special needs I was reading about that lost his whole collection of racing shirts. Didn't really fully understand what was going on. So I'm gonna get him some shirts, and we're gonna ask our drivers this weekend if they've got shirts they want to donate. We'll send those to that gentleman. We had planned at Beckley. Unfortunately, the weather won. We were going to send our drivers through the grandstands at intermission. We're going to collect money. Josh Profit, promoter at MMP and a doctor, was going to come and deliver that money back. We knew that it was going to go to racing families and to racing, to people that needed it. We were excited to work with them. We think the world of Josh and us as a series. Randy Kinder here at Beckley was totally for it. He considers the Profits friends as well. And unfortunately, we rained out. So I'm hoping that maybe Labor Day weekend that we can there'll still obviously be need. So I'm hoping that we can do some donations, take some stuff up that Labor Day weekend race here at Beckley and send it back to our friends there in Eastern Kentucky. Such devastation, such loss of life, it's just terrible to see. MMP is closed indefinitely. We'll see if they get things going again before our September race or if we need to, adjust the schedule there a little bit. But just heartfelt thoughts and prayers to our friends there in Eastern Kentucky.
Absolutely. So if you are a driver or a fan that have racing shirts that you want to donate to this kid that lost all of his, or donate to Eastern Kentucky this weekend, we're gladly taking donations for them, especially for those like Gary and all those people that are in Eastern Kentucky, because we don't want to see those wonderful racetracks in the dust. Right.
Or the families, So we hope to get some donations, help you guys rebuild. Like I said, the gentleman that lost his shirts, I think they said 2X or 3X. They don't want to work. So if you're a racer and you're watching tonight, and I'll talk about it, of course, in the drivers meeting this weekend as well, and want to donate, we're trying to put a little care package together to send out to them. So, such devastation. It was sad to see, and our hearts and prayers go out to our friends there in Eastern Kentucky. The rain's been bad this year. The flooding there was out of this world. Southwestern Virginia, some of the coal counties got it too. So everybody that was affected, our thoughts and prayers go out to them.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, we do now look forward
To tomorrow.
Hey Jack
Tomorrow
Construction.
night. Hey Jack Construction 40.
Crossville Speedway. So we've not been to Crossville in a year, Allie. We lost our race there earlier in the year, so we haven't been there. Actually, it's been over a year because this race rained out last year, so we didn't get to go. It's been since last July since we were at Crossville, and I'm excited to get back. The weather, it looks really good. Terry picked up some tires for me from South last week, so he's got 7 tires and 1 T-shirt for us. So Logan says they're ready for barbecue this weekend. So I was telling him there's a good little barbecue restaurant right down the road from I-75. So I think that's the plan for Saturday.
Before the race.
Before the race, yeah. So we'll go. Crash the barbecue joint on Saturday. So, but Terry says 7 tires, 1 T-shirt. Appreciate that, Terry.
Quit giving this man tires.
Allie loves loading and unloading the tires. But like I was saying, the Hey Jack Construction 40, Hey Jack Construction has the VIP suite there at Crossville, and he's always great to us. He feeds us on race night there in the tower. You're gonna be down in the pit area this weekend, so you might miss out on the Hey Jack food, but maybe you could sneak up and get some food from Hey Jack this weekend. So we got Casey scoring. You're going to be busy you're going to be in the dirt playing this weekend. So checking deck heights and checking everything. So it's going to be a fun weekend. But the racing at Crossville is always really good. It's a tight bull ring track, high banked. It's like it and Beckley are very similar. It's like red clay, and Beckley's got the more yellow clay, and they're very similar in shape and size. And the racing there, usually we have some phenomenal racing there. And Terry says not to pass Buc-ee's this weekend. So Buc-ee's is open. So I forgot about Buc-ee's being there now too. But it's going to be the racing. The racing at Crossville is always good. We're going to have a solid field of cars. And really, it's hard to say who the winner could be. I got a message. Philip Thompson just won the race last weekend. He's coming to race with us. The I-75 points leader in 604s is coming to Crossville as well, Chris McKinney. Of course, we've got our regulars, our Hayden Cardwells, our Terry Poor, our Logan Walls, all of the drivers, the Sices that run with us full time. Bob, the Newton Ninja, Ricky Green.
And I have one that I think I have 2 picks, and I always pick these 2. Well, I've picked them all season, but I really think, Terry, your luck's going to turn around this weekend. I have a feeling about it. And I think William Blankenship runs phenomenal at Crossville, and I think he may be a secret one that comes up against his first American All-Star Series. Yeah,
he did pick up his first career win there, I believe, last year. So William is going to be a threat. He's 4th in points right now. So this could be a good weekend for him to add to the points that he's already garnered this season. Haven't heard from Hedger. Hedger was trying to sell his car, so he wants to go for a championship next year. So I respect that. He's 2nd in points right now, but he wants to go for wins and championships. So Hedger, I haven't heard from him, so it might be a good week for everybody to move up in the points. If Hedger's not going to be there with us this weekend, could be good for Logan and William and the Sices. Everybody could gain some points there on the 2nd place man. So Bailey Cardwell is coming. Bailey,
finally,
yeah, he has been trying to race with us for a month and a half. Bailey and somebody else, they've both been trying to race with us for about a month and a half, and it's not worked out. So finally, I thought Zach Shannon's the other one. So those guys, they both will probably run really good, I feel, at Crossville. They both run there. I know Zach has been running there a good bit, and he's been running top 5 every week. So then we've got some other guys coming this weekend too. Don't count out Bradley Llewellyn. Trey Bain's going to be in the house. I think
it's so awesome to hear about how many cars we have checked in. Normally, and I'm not trying to bash or talk bad about racetracks or anything, but normally Crossville is one of our lower car count tracks.
Yeah, it's so far out west.
It is a weekly basis.
It's the farthest we go. So it's
awesome to see that all these drivers are tired of the rain and they're ready to go race. That's
right. So, I mean, look at the haul Ricky Green has to make to be there from Newton, North Carolina. He's going to have to make a haul to be there. But then Tyler Price, I don't want to leave out Tyler Price. Tyler Price is another one that kind of like Shooty. He runs with us when we're there in the Eastern Tennessee, the Georgia tracks. He runs with us a good bit in that area. He's a strong competitor. Deke Waters calls Crossville home. He's going to be good. Floyd Turner, and then Dakota Smith. I think Dakota, I don't want to misspeak. I think Dakota is the grandson, not the son. I think he's the grandson of the legendary Steve Smith. So, Steve was there with him the last time Dakota ran with us. Steve came to the event, so got to chat with him. So, some good drivers coming. Colton Jackson said if he gets off work, he plans to be there and run with us both nights. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a stout field there at Crossville, and I don't know who's going to win it. I mean, it could be anybody. Any of those guys we've named are very capable of winning. Stephen Padula, brand new car. So, he might have to work some bugs out and bring a brand new car, but I think he'll be strong. He does. Josh Dietz is coming. He ran with us earlier this year at Lake Cumberland. Very good competitor. Won the last 2 races at Florence Speedway. Well, Florence has a great field of cars and great competition too. So Josh should run really good. I think it could be about anybody.
Exciting.
Yeah. I'm excited for this race. Brandon Miller, he threw his hat in the ring today too. So Brandon ran good there with us last year, I believe, if I recall correctly. And who knows who else might roll in? Like I said, they've been getting their weekly 604 count there at Crossville has definitely went up. Here, it looks like they've been averaging about 12 cars. I keep an eye on what's going on in the 604 world, and it looks like they've been averaging about 12 cars, whereas last year they were getting 8 or 9 a week. So, with the economy, that's pretty good to see growth in a class. And if all those guys roll in with the guys we've named, we could have around a 25, 26, 28 car field. So, I think it'll be great. B Main, that's right. Bolt Bandits, ATC. We give some bolts away. That's right. So I'm excited. Crossville, Hayjack Construction 40. Like I said, Hayjack has been a part since we've come on, since American All-Star Series has existed. The Hayjack Construction race has been on the schedule. Last year we lost it to rain, but it was on the schedule. And we tried twice to run it, and the rain got us both times. So
it is tomorrow night.
It's not going to rain this time. Weather looks phenomenal. And I can't wait.
Yep. Hayjack Construction tomorrow night at Crossville Speedway. 40 laps. It's going to be an awesome night. And I'm ready to get back to racing after this long break. It almost felt like an off season.
It would. Got a nice little text here from Miss AAS, Nikki Moon. And she said, remind that there is a time difference. And that's right. When you go to Crossville, and that's another thing that sometimes hurts car count there. They are an hour behind us. They operate in a Central Standard Time there in Crossville. So just make sure you keep that in mind as you're traveling out there. If you're planning to get there right when gates open at 4:30, remember I think they open at 3:30. Remember it's 4:30 Eastern Time, not 4:30 Central Time. So,
I'm going to be there an hour late tomorrow.
You said you'd be there between 4:30 and 5, so you're going to be right on time.
I thought you said it was 3:30.
It is, but you decided maybe, I don't know.
I said
my brain
it'd be
hurts.
4:30 their time.
Okay, my brain hurts, Allie.
Because I won't leave school till 3.
That's right. Okay, I'm with you. So, all right.
Anyways, before we talk about I-75 and then move on to our bloopers, let's hear a quick word from the title sponsor of the American All-Star Series, PPM Racing Products, and the official fuel, Renegade Racing Fuel.
When you start with the strongest American steel, apply the smartest techniques. artesian quality craftsmen do the work. What you end up with is just a little better than anything else you can get.
Racers that win, pour it in, and we appreciate you.
Welcome back to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Septic Services. This is a production of the American All-Star Series, and we're in the process of talking about our weekend coming up, starting tomorrow night and Saturday night. But before we talk about the second show for this weekend, let's talk about Racetrack Connection.
Give Racetrack Connection. So we've talked about how fans and drivers can use it to interact, but how can the drivers use it? How can they really benefit from Racetrack Connection? Well, there's a lot of great features. One thing that you mentioned earlier is you can put your resume in. Well, what can you do with a resume? Well, have a hard time writing sponsorship proposals. Well, if your resume is there and you tell people your accomplishments, that's a good way to get sponsors. So you can use Racetrack Connection to reach out and have sponsors reach out to you. So that's one great feature that's offered through Racetrack Connection.
Yes, as well as if you have a side business. So as Sylvan, if he signs up for Racetrack Connection, he can put his metal building or metal business into his Racetrack Connection and buy and sell like Facebook Marketplace through Racetrack Connection to his new fans, as well as maybe some potential sponsors.
That's right. And bodybuilding. He said he was a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So he's got his bodybuilding business. You could advertise that in Racetrack Connection. Our buddy Logan Walls, who's also watching tonight, just started Barnyard Warrior Racing Bodies. So, you know, he could promote his bodies there on Racetrack Connection as well. So no matter what it is, racing wise, you can buy and sell on Racetrack Connection. So
And
download
you
it.
can chat.
And you can chat. Download it right now. Apple, Google Play.
Android.
Yeah, Android. That's all there. As long as you got an Android device or an Apple device, you can get hooked up. Two different versions, one for the fans, one for the drivers.
That's what I was about to say. One for the fans, one for the drivers.
All right.
Racetrack Connection user or Racetrack Connection driver?
Sign up now.
Raycar driver.
That's right.
Anyways, let's talk about not Racetrack Connection. The race we have on Saturday at I-75 Raceway, the Stars in the Valley 40.
That's right. This is one of my favorite events, the Stars in the Valley 40. I love the name of this race. Tara has a great flyers designed for this race, and I'm really looking forward to going and being a part of I-75 Raceway again. Always great to go see our friends, the Littleton family, Beth Breakbill there at I-75. They work so hard. They've got a billboard up advertising our race this week in town, which is awesome. And like I said, the race we had there in April, especially night number 2, was phenomenal. And Beth says that it's 10,000% better than it was when we were there in April. So I can't wait to see what kind of racing that is going to be produced this weekend.
I wasn't there in April, but I certainly was watching on Direct to Media, and that was probably one of the best races I've seen the American All-Star Series run. Hayden Cardwell had a great run towards the top, and Corey Hedgecock, and that's names we love to see on the series. And I think this weekend, I have a feeling, I told you this when we were talking about Crosswell, but I have a feeling somebody that hasn't been towards the front and had some tough luck that month and whatever we had off, I think it's turned their luck around, and I think somebody else is going to win this weekend.
Yeah, Hayden could win again.
Sorry, Hayden.
But, when there's 25, 26, 27 other guys, it could be anybody.
Yep, and the one thing, I-75 is probably one of my favorite tracks on the tour, and besides Natural Bridge, but it's sort of similar to Natural Bridge when it has no wall on the back stretch or on the curves, and you can just tilt off the top. But then what's awesome about watching races there, and they do that, some of them kind of like Ashton Winger, they literally just drive right back on the track. Like, oops, sorry.
Yeah. Who was it? Ray Cook, when we were there in April. He spent as much time driving outside the track as he did on the track, and still came away with a top 10 finish. So it's cool. It's different. I like that. There's a lot of tracks up north that are wall-less like that, but we don't really have as many down in the south without the walls like that. So it's different, definitely different, and I'm sure the drivers have to think about it different. There's sometimes you can use the wall to kind of launch off of down the straightaway, and you don't have that at a place like I-75. So I think that is definitely a different, a different mindset for drivers. They have to think about the fact that there is no wall there. I'd like to talk to some of them about it. We should have probably asked Sylvan about that when we had him on earlier.
Yeah. Well, and then another thing, I have two things that I really love about I-75. It's the no walls, how it's just like free range racing. And then the second thing I love is that every time you watch a race there is multiple lines of racing going on. There isn't just a single line of racing. There's people on the bottom, there's people in the middle, and there's people banging the boards. And it's just awesome to see the way the American All-Star Series and the prestigious racers we have that Sylvan said we have in East Tennessee, in Georgia, in North Carolina, they all come to I-75, and they are trying to get the money in, and I just love how we have several lines of racing throughout.
Yeah, they get after it for sure. The racing is really phenomenal there. I love it. I love going there. I love that we get to be a part of I-75 because it is such a unique track. It is, like you said, slide jobs are a big deal at I-75. I mean, you don't ever watch a race where there's not some slide jobs thrown, which is cool. I love watching slide jobs at a racetrack for sure. It's great for the fans. They get on their feet. They get excited. And they've done a great job there. I think I was talking to Beth the other day, and they've rained out once in the last year, and it was this past Saturday. So I think it was last August was the last time they rained out before that. So they never rain out, even though it's been a rough year for rain. They keep on, and they get it in usually. So, but the great thing about Saturday is the weather looks absolutely perfect. So that's what I'm excited about. It's good to have Jewel Coffee here. Says Sylvan T. Schuette's a great guy. Schuette is a great guy. And Toccoa Raceway. Good to have Toccoa here hanging out with us tonight. So good to have you with us tonight. But again, I think we're going to have that.
It's just so great to just go through the week and be like, because I just started a new job and it's really overwhelming. The first year teaching, and it's really overwhelming, really stressful because I'm not teaching PE, which sucks. But anyways, and then I'm like, oh, okay, Friday I get to go racing. Friday I get to go racing, and then I don't have to worry about the weather. It's like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I'm like, okay, no rain, perfect. Yeah. I actually get to go racing.
I've got to go back to my real job next week, so so. It is good knowing that we can race this weekend. I hate that we've had so many rainouts this year. Man, I hate that we've had, I feel like we've lost our whole summer to rain. So, but we're getting here in the fall. We've got some huge events coming up. This 2-day weekend is a good way to kick it off. 2 2,500 win shows. Somebody could bag $5,000 this weekend over 2 days. Then we've got the biggest weekend in series history. And I got to mention it before we end the night show because it's coming up fast. The biggest weekend in series history coming up this Labor Day weekend.
Over $75,000 going to be going out to these drivers, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. And that I've not been on a 3-day weekend the series. Ever.
Well, it's tiring, but it's fun. I love it. I love the exhaustion of it. It's one of my favorite things is these 3-day weekends. And I know sometimes the racers don't like it. They get tired. They get grumpy. We're all grumpy and exhausted by the end of it, but I love doing it. I have a lot of fun. 3 days of racing back to back to back. You can't beat it. And where else have you heard of 2 $10,000 to win crate races in one weekend? Not to mention the 5,000 on Friday night at Natural Bridge. They stepped up big. Huge shout out to Tiffany Kidd, Brittany Ayers there. Took over the lease. The track was in peril, and they took over the lease, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna do it." And that race is now. It was supposed, when we originally had it scheduled, it was a 3,000 to win race. They said, "Let's do 5." You know, I'm not.
We are going to have a crap ton of cars.
Yes, yeah, the whole weekend it's going to be packed. So, you know, I definitely wanted to mention that weekend as we head into this exciting weekend. I'm looking forward to this weekend a lot. I think we're going to have solid car counts. I think we're going to have good races. 2 great tracks. I love the Jackson family there at Crossville, the Littletons at I-75, and then we'll turn around, regroup, and get ready for the biggest weekend in series history.
Perfect. And then we'll turn around and get ready for all the next 10,000 we have, and then the 15,000 at Willard.
That's right.
Why not throw more money into the season? That's
right. You know, we've got September is going to be busy. We've got what's supposed to be a night at Isom may not happen with their indefinite closure. We try to find something. You know, we lost a race at Beckley. I might see if I can get Randy it was going to be a 3,000 to win. I might see if I can get Randy to pick it up so that way we can still have a doubleheader with Willard that weekend because both tracks are about the same distance apart and things, so it works out pretty well. The Willard that weekend's 5,000, and then the next weekend we turn right around and we go to Sugar Creek for 10. 2 weeks we've got Smoky for 10, and then we've got Beckley's the weekly championship deal at Beckley for 5, and then the 15. So it's going to be a very busy couple months.
A lot of money, and I'm excited.
Me too.
But
so,
yeah. Tomorrow we go to Crossville, and then on Saturday we're at I-75 Raceway for the Stars in the Valley 40. A lot of racing going to go on this weekend for the American All-Star Series, and it's going to be very interesting to watch. If you can't be there, then tune into American All-Star Series.tv or AmericanAllStars.tv.
There you go.
Check out Dirty Media coverage of the live events. But before we go into one of our favorite segments of the show, the blooper segment, should run the IRS.
You call him and tell him that,
hey, Cody.
Just call him up and tell him that, old buddy.
But before we go into one of our favorite segments of the show, the blooper segment, let's see a quick video of our sponsors. Welcome back to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Septic Services. This has been a great show today.
Yes. You've been tongue-tied all night. Have you been tongue-tied while you've been teaching?
No, because they all been doing just pre-tests.
Oh, well.
So I've been sitting there.
That's fun.
It's freezing.
Well, blooper-wise, let's go catch up with comments because we got some coming in. Cody said he would, but they were 8. And now that was a close-up. And Bo says he's here for the blooper segment. I don't know why Bo's here. Bo never shows up any other time he's supposed to show up. So the only bloopers, I mean, you've been tongue-tied all night. Jesse about broke herself before we went live, so I was a little late getting on.
Yeah, you text me and said Jesse broke.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she probably broke her toe on the transponder case, so that's lovely.
Good.
Yeah. So that's a good way. She's gonna be happy this weekend, I'm sure. So we've been working on, Puddin's been working on building our new porch on our new house. And we both are eat up with bugs. I think she's got like 90 bug bites between all over her. So she's struggling right now and driving herself crazy with her bug bites. So, it's been a rough couple days, but we are about to be in our new house finally. So excited about that. Puddin has a nice porch built on, and we've got electricity, and I'm excited to do that. So I've been trying to get her to do it all week, but it's just not worked out. So it probably Sunday, Monday, moving in before we start back to work on Thursday.
Is it in service on Thursday?
In service on Thursday and Friday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday.
I had in service last Friday from 8:30, and we had to sit in the library till 12:30.
Nice.
Just sitting there.
Policies.
Yeah, well, we had to do the STARS training or whatever. Would you ever consider an open trailer nationals?
Where are we going to run that at, Cody?
Lernerville.
Are we going to go all the way to Pennsylvania? Well, Allie's already picked a track, Cody, so just call them up. I don't know where it came from, but she picked a track. So, Cody, you just go ahead and call Lernerville. Tell them that Allie scheduled a race.
Wow.
No show Bo.
Are they coming? They're not coming this weekend, are they?
No show Bo.
Neither Jesse?
No show Jesse. Hey, there's Kobe.
Unreliable.
Kobe, who never shows up for.
He said yo at the beginning.
Who never shows up for his spot on the podcast. Jesse tells you I'm not exaggerating.
Oh my gosh. Yes, in service is terrible. Awful. Absolutely terrible. And then I didn't have an email, and apparently the whole week I didn't have an email until Friday after the in service. So I was told, I got all the emails throughout the week that we had in service, and they were like, you could dress comfortably.
Yes.
All
Isn't
week.
it nice to find that out now?
Cody, I freeze all day in my classroom, so that's why I'm in a hoodie. It's cold. Chilly out.
Kobe says he's not a public figure.
Well, we want you on the show, Kobe.
That's right.
We have a whole whopping 100 views sometimes, so it's not like we have, I don't know, 18,000 people.
Don't tell him about the 2,000 that usually watch it after we're live. We'll keep that part secret.
He let the cat out of the bag. Anyways,
Jesse
I don't think we have any more bloopers.
Not to know about that. So it's race weekend.
I still don't have a computer either, so I can't take attendance or give grades. So.
Oh, that's good.
And we're within a week of school. So we are a weekend. I don't get it. Am I supposed to get it?
Yeah, because of your hoodie.
Why?
Because he doesn't like the brand that you're wearing.
Well, it's not my hoodie.
I don't think you could use that excuse.
It's really not. And I don't drive a race car, so.
So Crossville's usually interesting to get to. So make sure you use Waze because it'll be updated with all the traffic. There's always some kind of crazy traffic issue when we go to Crossville. So just a heads up, Allie. Heads up, Tara. Make sure you've got a GPS in that updates the traffic patterns because it's usually
No, sir. That is over.
Yeah, he moved on. I can't remember who he moved on to, but he moved on. He told me.
He moved on. I can't remember either.
I don't remember who moved on to. Somebody. All right. Well, I guess that's it for tonight.
Yep.
Remember the time change. Yep. We said that earlier, but I'll remind you again. We do gain an hour, so thankfully, if we're running on time and we get stuck in traffic, we're still going to be on time with their time. So let's rock and roll. Let's have a good weekend. And Kobe's having some fun. Kobe, I'm glad you're here with us. But let's have a great weekend. Come join us. Come race with us. If you can't be there in person, AmericanAllStars.tv will have you covered all weekend long. We hope
with Dirt 2 Media. That's
right. We hope that you could be with us in person, though. It's going to be a great weekend. So come on out. Let's have some fun, folks.
Yep. Well, join us next week sometime because me and Joe have been terrible at figuring out a day of the week that we're doing the podcast. But join us next week with the winners of Crossville Speedway and I-75 Raceway for this weekend. But if that's all you have, Joe.
That's it.
All right. That's the dirt for Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe. Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Peace
everybody.
Out,